Tell the story.
Okay. We were, Berlin and I were out on the front porch at 302 East Broadway. And my dad said, there's a book here that I want you to have that because it needs to stay in the family. And I said, well, okay. So then he gave me the book and he told me that he had
Oh,
received this book from the pastor, and I don't remember the pastor's name. Maybe it was Scarvey out in Glenwood Township,
Yeah.
Glenwood Lutheran Church. And the pastor said, this book, I found it in the church and it had been given to the church by somebody and he didn't know who, but he found this book and he said, this book needs to be in your family. So he gave this book to Walter, and Walter's had it for many years and kept it. And then he in turn turned it over to me and told me that this book had all of the information that we would need to know for the genealogy of our family on the Williams side.
and you
So
were
that's what,
how old were you when you got it?
this was shortly before Dad died. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, so I was older, mid-age, I suppose. I'd never heard that my name should be Webjørnsen. I hadn't even heard that. And then later on, Dad took me out to the Glenwood Lutheran Church and showed me where Webjørn Webjørnsen was buried. And he remembered that. And so he showed me where that tombstone is. And I think I've showed it to you guys, so you know where it is. And so anyway, this got your mom started on our genealogy. She had Dr. Oyvind Havdi translate the book, which was very difficult because it was written in Old Norwegian, not New Norwegian. And he was old enough and smart enough to be able to, and he was the librarian up at Luther College. So he could read that stuff. And to me, when I looked at it, it looked like hen scratching, on a piece of paper. And I can read a little bit of Norwegian, but I couldn't read that stuff. So
Well,
anyway,
and
he got it translated for us.
Webjørn Webjørnsen Waal, who would have written that, was a schoolmaster. I mean,
Correct.
you would think his handwriting would have been a little better.
Yeah.
Some of those priests, some of those like parish records. Yeah, I mean, that writing is actually way better than some that I've tried to decode.
Sure.
Yeah, it's
So you think this book was written approximately when?
Well, Mark can tell you because the date's in there.
yeah, well, yeah. Well, I think the date of the book, it's also on it's probably also on the blog, Eric, if you ever want to look that up. Or let's see. No, I don't
So
know
the
if
book, it was written by Webjørn Webjørnsen
No.
Waal, not
Waal,
Webjørn
yeah.
Webjørnsen.
book itself is a book of Psalms. So they would in church, they would use those books to sing the Psalms out of, I think, right,
Yeah,
Dad?
or it was their hymn book.
It would have been like a hymn book.
Yeah, Norwegian hymn book.
So this
They
was
call-
Webjørn Webjørnsen's dad who wrote the book, who
Well, who
No, he
wrote
farther than that.
Yeah,
It's Webjørn Webjørnsen Waal. There was more than one Webjørn Webjørnsen, but this was Waal, the one from Waal.
it would have been the older Webjørn Webjørnsen that
Yeah.
wrote in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
How
would have been.
So when Verl and I were in Norway in '86, Udvar Bjerke, who was related to us, took us around to all these different farms of where our relatives had lived in that area. It was very nice of him.
Can't you take that off?
Yeah, and your mom has that all recorded. And Eric, for your information, Mark has it on the computer on the blog, and Mark has got it back now. It goes all the way back 1600s. That were related to some Fanas, who was a very important woodworker and made beautiful cups and stuff. If you haven't seen it, you need to look at Mark's.
no,
Dawn too. Need to
I've
look at
seen,
his blog.
I've seen that. Yep.
Yeah, that's just gorgeous.
Can't you take that off?
I don't want to mess with that because I can't do anything about it anyway. I got a little notice on it that says leave meeting or got it. Should I push anything there or not?
Got it.
Just push got it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I
Yeah,
didn't want to wreck stuff.
so here are those pages that are scanned, Eric, you know, from, you know, it says I, Webjørn Webjørnsen. I can't read that with something at Waal.
But this
In-
is the Waal one writing this.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is the older Webjørnsen. He didn't, his son, Webjørn Webjørnsen, is the one that came over and lived in Glenwood.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So those are all in that Psalmbook. That one's from 1805.
So prior to Waal, it was who
Well,
on that side?
are you talking
Say-
about dad? Like
What?
like who's his dad?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who's
his was
who's
was Web,
Webjørn Webjørnsen Waal's dad? Mark
Yeah.
has that info.
yeah, it's Webjørn Svensson Waal.
Oh, now it's a Svensson.
Then it's
Yeah.
then it's Sven
So,
Torres.
so then it's a Sven something.
Yeah, it's Sven Torresson Waal. Then it's Tor Webjørnsen Waal. And then
Good
there's
Lord.
Webjørn Gunderson Stockstadt.
So then it's a
Yeah,
Gunder. Then it's a Gunder something.
Yeah,
Egg.
give that last one, Mark, again. We
Well-
were on that farm.
Hang on a second, Eric. It's just easier maybe if I show you the thing.
No, I get it. I get it. I wasn't sure how far back we were is all.
Well, he'll take you there, Eric.
You can just look here, and if you go,
There you go.
go compact and go like 8 generations, you can do this is me, but you can see
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy cow.
you can so here's Webjørn Webjørnsen, Webjørn Webjørnsen Waal, Webjørn Svensson, Sven Torresson Waal. And if you go to him and go to his ancestors, his dad was Thor. So we're related to Thor.
Mhm.
Tor Webjørnsen Waal. That's pretty crazy.
And that one where the arrow is there, Burl and I have been to that farm.
Which
at
one?
Scutboo.
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 Got
That one?
We were to Scutboo. Yeah.
and
And
then
these people that you went and saw there, they knew the history of. They-
Oh, yeah.
They
They all-
knew way back that far that.
Yeah, they're heavy into their people who live there on those rural farms like Udvar. Yeah, he knows all of this same stuff, and it wouldn't have been for him. We wouldn't, Verla wouldn't have been able to get all this stuff. He helped her a lot.
So who's the current person you saw in 1986, right?
Yeah, those people were still, there was still someone living on the farm at Skutstad who was related to us.
So the people in 1986 knew
All
This-
of this stuff.
that this person back in whatever year this is
Yeah,
1630 is when
knew that was the history of that particular place.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It
That's a
blows your
big-
mind.
That's a big wow.
It is. Yep.
anyway.
Huh.
Or Dawn,
So
you're not
that's the work of your mother, Eric, and
I
your
know.
brother Mark.